So here, guys, as I was saying, right, the second language acquisition, okay, according to this research, right, it's not influenced by the starting age, okay, but there's a relationship between the rate of learning, okay, between the rate of learning and the age of the learning, okay. Adolescents, they learn faster than adults, and children as far as grammar and vocabulary are concerned. So, uh, so in conclusion, the age, the age, it's divided, it's divided according to this research. And in conclusion, they said that the adolescents, I'm sorry, they learn faster than adults, right? They learn faster than adults, and children as far as grammar and vocabulary are concerned, right? Although young learners do not learn as fast as old ones, they are prompt to gain a higher overall success because of a longer exposure to the language. Um, this guy Ellis also provides some explanations of the research results. The studies do not support the critical period hypothesis, which states that children can acquire language naturally and with no effort to some age. The starting age is important only as far as pronunciation is concerned. So in conclusion, uh, the age does not really define, okay, how well you're gonna learn a language. Because most of the time, people believe that kids learn faster than adults, okay? And people have believed, I'm sorry, that that little kids learn faster, that they learn everything faster. They get a better accent than adolescents and adults. However, adults learn the morphology and syntax better than kids, okay? And according to this research, the adolescents, they are the fastest learners, you know what I mean? They learn faster than adults and even than kids, So that's something that caught my attention because we have always believed that little kids learn faster, all right? So if you ever want your kids to learn English, I mean, it's not a bad idea to take them to English classes. However, according to this research, adolescents can learn faster, all the aspects, right? Like grammar and everything, okay? They will learn faster than adults and even kids, all right? That's one point of view. Any question or opinion about the age before moving to something else? Mm-hmm. Is there any question, contribution, comment, or something? Or
For
we're
me,
okay?
everything's clear.
Okay. So let's move. Here we have intelligence and aptitude. Okay. I need somebody to read. Let me see. Edgardo, would you mind reading this, please? Edgardo Arias.
Okay, intelligence aptitude. Intelligence is defined and measured in terms of linguistic and logical mathematical abilities. Success in life and learning show correlate with high EQ, intelligence quotient. TED score, the studies on intelligence show a strong relationship between intelligence and acquisition of a foreign language, but only as far as academic skills are concerned. Learners with high EQ achieve better results on language tests. It brought up intelligence can predict the rate and success of SLA, Interformal Language Classroom, Genesis 1976. The ability to perform well in a standard intelligence test correlates highly with school relate second language learning, but it's unrelated to the learning of a second language. for informal and social function. Spolke, 1989-103. It is assumed that some people are gifted and they learn foreign language with ease. It was observed that learners acquire a language with different results, despite the fact that they are at the same age and are equally motivated. It is not just intelligence that can explain the difference. Students need aptitude, some specific ability, which are responsibility for learning language.
Thank you very much, Edgar. Now here we have intelligence and aptitude. Now, do you know the definition of aptitude, which is different than attitude, guys? Do you know the difference? Anybody?
Is it about
I
values?
think
Oh, okay.
I don't
Catherine?
know si
okay.
Use the hands. Use the little hand, okay? Use the little hand. No worries. All right. So, Catherine or Miguel? Catherine.
ladies first.
Okay. Ladies first. So, Catherine.
Okay. I think that aptitude it is the ability.
Okay. Miguel?
I was thinking it was about values, but I'm not sure.
All right. Thanks a lot. Well, I'm going to give you a
Uh,
short definition. Oh, okay, Lily. Lily, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's like a natural ability to acquire certain type of knowledge or do certain things according to a specific thing.
Wow, amazing, excellent. Attitude, guys, is the natural ability to acquire knowledge, or any skill. Very good, excellent. Thank you, all of you, for participating. That is attitude, is the capability that a human have for doing certain things, and that the attitude is different. It has to do with the behavior, But here we're talking about intelligence and attitude, right? Now, here the studies of on the intelligence show a strong relationship between intelligence and acquisition of a foreign language, but only as far as academic skills are concerned. It says some people, or the people that are really smart, they do it good on language tests. Okay, so they can maybe somebody that is really smart, okay, they learn the grammar rules, and maybe they take their TOEFL test, okay, and they can get 600. But that doesn't mean that that person really learned the language. You know what I mean? Because they can probably show that they know the rules. They probably in speaking, maybe any of you can speak better than that person, and that's another kind of intelligence. You know what I mean? Because intelligence is defined, it says this, and measured in terms of linguistic and logical mathematical abilities, okay? It's measured in that way, okay? So maybe if somebody answers a test, it's probably because that person has a high IQ, but that does not define, okay, how well you're going to acquire a language. Now, these words, I mean, these letters S, L, A that are here in this paragraph, it means second language acquisition, okay? That is the meaning of that. Second language acquisition. So, so the ability, to perform well in a standard intelligence test correlates highly with school-related second language learning, but it's unrelated to the learning of a second language for informal and social function. That means, guys, that even if you're really smart and maybe you can get a high score in a test, it doesn't mean that you're gonna have, that you're gonna have, or you're gonna be successful, or you're gonna have a successful conversation or social functions with native speakers, for example, So there is a difference, okay? Here it says that it was observed, it says, that learners acquire a language with different results, despite the fact that they are at the same age and are equally motivated. So we can also set the same example. Imagine that you have a very smart person or a gifted person, all right, in the same classroom. Maybe the gifted person can do it really good at tests, but maybe the other ones can speak better, you know? So there's some differences, okay? I'm sorry. So at the end, even though you have a really high Q, it does not define how well you're gonna acquire the language, you know? It has to do with some other factors as well. And motivation plays an important role. Motivation plays an important role of the in the learning process, you know? Now, on the other hand, we have learning styles, okay, which is a well-known topic by you, I guess. So let me see. Monica, would you mind reading this part, please? Monica Alfaro.
Well, learning styles. Kifi, 1979. City by Els, 1994. Describe learning styles as the characteristics, cognitive, affective, and psychological behavior that serve relative a stable indicator of who learners perceive, interact with, a response to the learning environment. Students' learning styles can be influenced by many factors, among which are their genetic background, their culture, and previous learning experience. It is said that if teachers match their teaching methods to the students' learning styles, the student will be more resourceful and more interested in the language. Researchers have developed many different types of the learning styles.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So here we have learning styles, right? Now, Keith described learning styles as the characteristic, cognitive, affective, and psychological, okay? Psychological behaviors that serve relatively stable indicators of how learners perceive, interact with, and respond to the learning environment, okay? So here, students' learning styles can influence, right? Can be influenced by many factors, right? Here, it has to do with culture, you know, the genetic background as well, and also, you know, the teachers, you know, the teachers and their methodology, okay? The kind of methodology that they use when you are when they are teaching you know, a class. So the learning styles, you know, it's important. But here I would like to make a parenthesis, and here it would be important for teachers to include different activities, okay? Different activities. Why? Because here, all of your students, I mean, all of them have different learning styles. Probably Miguel likes moving, probably Rosa likes reading, or maybe Cindy, she likes listening, you know? So in your lessons, most of the time in your lessons, you will have input all the time, okay? You will have readings all the time, but sometimes we forget about the kinesthetic things. Of course, right now, because of the pandemic, I mean, the kinesthetic power, it's a little bit how can I say, it's not being used, you know what I mean, because of the situation. And then sometimes if I ask you, okay, stand up, we're gonna do this activity, it would be difficult because we don't see each other, you know. I don't know if you're actually doing it. So the closest thing that we have is basically joining the breakout rooms and you know, writing on the chat, stuff like that. However, we can implement, depending of the equipment that you have, depending of the camera that you have, and you can implement activities like that, you know. especially when you're teaching kids, because kids, they cannot be sitting down for 1 hour and 40 minutes, you know, their attention it's less than 2 minutes, you know, so you have to engage them in a different way. However, for adults, you can include visuals, you can include videos, you can include readings, you know, interaction as well, and that would be worth it. That would be worth it as well, you know. So learning factors or learning styles, that has a lot to do when it comes to teaching. Okay, so here we have this chart, right? That it says that it's about motivation and also attitudes, right? Before going to this, I want you to have a short discussion, okay, about. I'm sorry. I want you to have a short discussion about how how does motivation, okay, in the class help you to learn, okay? How does motivation in the class help you to learn? Also, I want you to discuss things about what motivates you, okay? So I want you to identify, how do you feel motivated in the class, okay? So we're gonna have two groups. They're gonna be 4 and 5. And I want you to participate and discuss, okay? Give ideas, and these are personal ideas because like we're different. So how do you motivate you in the class, you know, not yourself, in the class, and how motivation affect the learning process, okay? So let's go to the breakout rooms. We're gonna have a short discussion of about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. Then we're coming back, okay? So let's go.
Motivation. How
Ah,
motivation helps in a class, and what motivates us to acquire knowledge. So first of all, oh, who can participate? Who want to participate first?
you can do it if you want.
Okay, well, for me, motivation is one of the main important aspects to take in count in a classroom, because it helps us to understand, for example, the students' preferences, and we can teach based on their preferences, and we can prepare the lesson plans according to the things that we think that that it look important or attractive for them. And it's important for me because when I start to learn from a different subject, one of the main things that motivate me are the teacher's attitude. If the teacher look interesting or bored, their dynamics, and those are things that really make me help me to understand better and motivate me.
All right, it's okay. Well, for me, motivation is very important, mostly in the classroom, because sometimes the students doesn't have the good motivation from the teachers, but in other cases, the teacher has a good motivation, and they motivate the student hard to work hard, uh, and to study very well. So if you study hard, you will get good grades. So it's very important that the teachers mostly give a good motivation, a good level of motivations. Students has has a good look of the class, right? So is very important. That's my opinion.
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Well, I'm going to give my opinion. Well, uh, motivation, like you said, is really important because if a student is really motivated, they want to learn a lot of things uh, for for the student. The classes are funny and they enjoy their learning process. And what motivates me? Like Lily said, the attitude of the teacher motivate us because if the professor has a positive attitude, the student reflect the same. And also the teaching materials um, motivates me because if I see a poster with attractive colors and I don't know pictures, something like that, I feel really motivated to learn about the topic that the teacher is um, give us the class.
Okay, so we're back. Thank you for discussing. I'm sorry that I didn't give you more time, but like I just you know set the time for 5 minutes, so the time was kind of ending. That's why I sent you the message, and I thought that it was the time for the video conference, but it was for the breakout rooms. All right. Now, I was listening to some of you that you were saying that motivation, right, plays an important role, and then you were saying that if the teacher has a good attitude, right, that motivates you. I also was listening to some of you mentioning the the student's attitude as well, right, which is important, right, which is important because if they have the right attitude, okay, um, towards learning, then they will take advantage of the material, the class, the opinions, and all those resources that we have, right? Now, in this mind map, we have this. Okay, we have that motivation is one of the most. Okay, we have motivation is one of the most important factors in second language acquisition. Um, if you're not motivated, if you're not motivated, then we have a problem, okay? We have a problem because if you don't want to do something, if you don't want to be in one place, so your mood changes. Your mood changes, okay? And taking that into the reality, it's hard because, I mean, as humans, we have to adapt ourselves. You know, right now, for example, we are, through a video conference, and we could be in the university right now and we could be like interacting, standing up, talking, moving, but we can't. You know what I mean? We can't do that right now. So this is a barrier, but your attitude and my attitude as well will help, okay, in order to overcome all those situations that we have or we are facing right now. So it is obvious that learners who want to learn are likely to achieve more than those who do not. Okay? Pay attention to this. So it is obvious that learners who want to learn are likely to achieve more than those who do not. Being in this video conference shows me, okay, that you are really interested in learning, you know, because you're here and you have taken the time for being here. I bet that there are some classmates that they said, ah, no, conectarme, que hueva, no, que no sé qué, etc. Right? There are many
A negative attitude.
yeah, they're like, you know, there are thousands of arguments that they can use, you know, but only the people that is really interested in learning, they will achieve more. Okay, so probably in the test you guys are going to finish maybe in 20 minutes. Probably for the people that didn't attend, it would be more difficult, you know what I mean? Because like, in order to get an idea about what you're talking about, I mean, I can ask you a question, but if I see that you're just copying and pasting, I mean, I'm not going to evaluate your answer, you know what I mean? In the midterm, I'm saying. So what I really like is that people understand and give their point of view, you know, based on the information that we have been discussing, okay? Now, if there is somebody that had problems, you know, with the connection and etc., but that person reads the information and her answer or his answer has to do with the question, then obviously it's gonna get a good score, right? But at the end, the score is not the important part. The important part is learning, okay? So here we have another aspect. The role of attitudes and motivation in second language acquisition has been investigated by this guy, Gardner, and also Lambert. So they define motivation in terms of the learner's overall goal or orientation and attitude as the persistence, I'm sorry, shown by the learner in striving for a goal. So if you want to learn something, you know, if your motivation is oriented to learn, then you're gonna get it, okay? You're gonna get it. I have met a lot of people that they wanted to learn English because I used to work in Centro Cultural. I don't know if you know the institution, but I used to work there. And I have seen thousands of students, okay, there that they wanted to learn English. So many people go there for learning English, you know, and at the end, I have seen people that, you know, it's hard for them to study English because they're not from the career, but they get it, you know, they learn and they can talk. And sometimes they do it better at standardized tests than English students. Don't ask me why, but that's a reality. And I have seen it, and I wonder like why, because he's not even from the career. Because I have seen people that they speak really good, and they, you know, get like 600 at TOEFL score, you know, at the TOEFL, and they're not even from the career, you know, and it's a shame, but it's a reality. And maybe that would be a good case of a study, you know, because like once I remember this, it was an old lady actually. She was like maybe 50 something. Well, not that old, but an adult, you know. So I mean, she learned English there, and in the TOEFL test, she got 600 all the time, and the diagnostic, and also in the real one. In the real one, she got 612. I mean, she was amazing, you know.
A
And
really good score.
I mean, yeah, and she was amazing, and she didn't even like study the career, you know what I'm saying? But she spoke a really good English. I mean, spoken English, and also about grammar. I mean, she learned everything because she was very dedicated. Okay, she was always like writing. Okay, I don't know this expression. She was always asking questions, you know. And that people that are motivated, they learn fast. You know, they learn fast because they are interested. Sometimes we stay in a comfort zone, and that's a problem. When you stay in a comfort zone, that's a problem. Then you have to run and get out of there. Okay, so if you ever stay there for a while, then make sure you get out of there. It's not a good place. Now here we have another aspect. They distinguish two types of motivation: integrative when learners study a language because they are interested in the people and culture of the target language, okay? So this is one, okay? It's when people learn just for fun. You know what I mean? They learn because they want to visit another country, because they like the culture. For example, maybe you have seen this trend that a lot of teenagers want to learn Korean because of the anime, because of the soap operas. You know, maybe you have seen this. And that's a trend. Same thing happens in English. Some people learn because they care about the culture or something specific. And some others that are called instrumental, when learners' goals for learning the second language are functional. For example, they need the language to get a better job. Some others, they need it because they want to get a better job or they want to teach like you guys, you know? And having these uh, elements into account, then if you are a committed person, then you will succeed, you know? So attitude and motivation, not just the student, also the teacher as well. Because if I just come here and say, good morning, students, right? How are you? Probably you will never be here again. So motivation has to do with those factors, you know, the energy that you put into your lessons, okay? Here, we have this formula, okay? So we have ability, motivation, and attitude, and that is equal to success. So in whatever you do, guys, make sure that you work on your ability, never forget your motivation, and always bring your attitude, okay? And that is gonna be success, all right? There are some aspects about kindness, empathy, personality that influence, you know. Empathy, that goes with the teachers, you know. When I know that some students have problems with the internet, they have problems pronouncing a word, then I understand. I just go and continue, and I tell them, oh, really good job, let's try again, or let's practice, or I correct them without them even notice. And that's part of the empathy, you know. And the personality plays an important role as well. Some people are quiet, you know, some people are shy, but they can also learn, okay? They have their own styles, and as teachers we have to understand that. So being shy is not something negative. So sometimes they know a lot, but they have that inconvenience that they don't share. So maybe what we can do is just to make them feel comfortable, you know, so they can start sharing and you know, and sharing stuff they know, because a lot of people that is like that, they know a lot. So, and the personality, you know, has to do with that as well. Then we have self-esteem, which is another important aspect, you know. If you're just thinking that, oh, I'm not going to do it well, if you're just, no, I'm not good, then that has to do with your self-esteem, you know. You should try and try and try until you get it, okay? Until you get it. As long as you try, there is always going to be a chance of success. Remember that, as long as you try. So your self-esteem, it's also important, okay? And that has to do with emotional aspects only, okay? Has to do with emotional aspects, and also your teacher plays an important role, because if your teacher praise your work, then you're gonna feel motivated, okay? But if, for example, I ask you to participate, but at the same time I said, oh no, este Alban no pronuncia bien. Este Alban sabe leer, hombre. No, hombre, ¿y por qué estudias esto? Right? If I go like that, pueden imaginarse?
It's like a negative feedback.
It's a negative feedback. Exactly. I cannot tell you that. You know what I mean? My job is to teach you and motivate you. So, you know, those are some tips. You know, then we have risk taking. You know, as well. Here in risk taking, when you're learning a second language, don't worry about making mistakes. Okay, make all the necessary mistakes that you want. Okay, because you're learning. You're learning. Okay, so that part That part is important because you have to be aware that making mistakes is how you learn, you know? If you make 100 mistakes, that means that you have 100 mistakes of improvements. I mean, you have 100 chances of improvement, okay? So take the risk, you know, and learn. Don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid. In conclusion, these are the factors that affect the acquisition of a second language. Most of the time, guys, our attitude is the one that is going to push, you know, it's going to push you forward or it's going to push you back. So it's your decision, okay, which way to go. So I highly recommend you to take all these aspects into consideration for the homework, but this is just the theory, okay? Now you are going to give, are going to give your own touch to the homework, to the this week homework. This is a video, okay? It is a video in which you're going to explain, you know, the factors that we have been discussing in this class, and you're gonna base all these factors, okay, in our reality here in El Salvador. And even you can mention your own experience, you know, when I was in first year, you know, I had this teacher that motivates me and I think that motivation is important and blah, blah, blah. You will have 3 to 5 minutes for recording, okay? If you speak a little bit more, it's okay, but don't speak less because remember that I have a rubric for this, okay? The rubric is in the homework, so you can check the rubric first, okay, before recording, so you can get a good score, okay? And this is equal to 70% of your second lab, okay? So it's a big deal. I don't know if there is any question before leaving, guys.
Sir, I got a question.
Okay.
Are we going to use a presentation at the same time?
If you want.
Ah, okay.
If you want, yeah, but you have to appear in the video, okay? At least for the introduction.
Okay.
Yes. Is there any other question? We have 1 more minute.
I have a doubt, mister.
Okay.
Well, when you say factors that affect learning, well, the learning process, you say in general?
No, in English, of course, in English.
Only in English?
In English, yes, because that's our area, yeah. Because otherwise it would be very wide.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, is there any other question?
I have a doubt,
Okay.
Mister.
Okay.
We will use the same effort you show us in this presentation.
Okay, listen, Catherine, the time is almost over. I'm going to start a new call for answering question, okay? So can you join it again?